Hey there, it's Zeratima, and by now it probably shouldn't be surprised that today's video is another one about Super Mario 64 ROM hacks. It is the first of many themed compilations I plan to put out very soon, and I hope you brought your appetite because today I've got your back with a little snack called the Foodie Hack Meal Pack. So I hope you're ready for some silly shit because we're about to get a little crazy taxi up in here. Waluigi brought some tacos, and all that's left to say is, it's pizza time, baby. This is the Foodie Hack Combo Pack. So the first dish in this Foodie Hack Meal Pack is actually a shell hack, which is a subgenre of Super Mario 64 mods that usually primarily involve Mario riding around on a green shell or some other similar item. Specifically, we're talking about Extreme Shell Delivery, which is basically a crossover between Mario 64 and the Crazy Taxi series. In this hack, you actually have a choice between arcade and free roam modes, but the primary choice basically throws you into a big city environment and tasks you with picking up and dropping off food orders to various NPCs around the map. You'll find the food orders at places like Subway, Pizza Slut, and a couple other different locations. The faster you can basically pick up and deliver the food, the more time you're awarded to continue playing. And as you skate along on the shell, you can pull off tricks and spins to increase your score. Ultimately, the objective is to earn the most points before the timer fully expires. Again, it's basically just Super Mario Crazy Taxi 64. That much is clear from the style of the menu and the custom graphics. The developer even went the extra mile and recreated the Bad Religion and Offspring soundtrack from the original Crazy Taxi games in the Super Mario 64 sound font, so that's extra cool. Extreme Shell Delivery is definitely one of the most clever shell or slide hacks that I've come across, and as a fan of Crazy Taxi, it had me grinning from ear to ear for about half an hour or so. It's not a super long game. Like I said, it only took me about a half an hour to get through playing the arcade mode. But I had a lot of fun with it, and really, again, I was impressed by the graphics. I was impressed by the music more than anything. Really got a kick out of me because I'm a big fan of punk music and Bad Religion and Offspring anyway. But it's, even more authentic, obviously, to the original Crazy Taxi experience to make sure that that is included in the game. So this is overall a pretty clever hack. It was the first place winner of the Shell Shredding competition, I believe is what it was called. And it definitely deserves it. It's an impressive little game. It might not be very long, and it doesn't have a ton of content, but for what it's worth, it's a lot of fun to play and try to get your own high scores and get the highest score you possibly can, just like in the original Crazy Taxi. Like I said, this one's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth the download. I think overall, I would definitely give this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Probably would have given it a 5 if there was a little bit more content, but overall, I really don't have any complaints here. Just really enjoyed this one. Got a big smile out of me because, like I said again, I was a huge Crazy Taxi fan, and anything with Mario 64 plus another good game that I enjoy is basically going to be something that's a surefire win for me. So check this one out if you enjoy Crazy Taxi, if you want something that's really different from the standard Mario 64 experience, or just, if you're feeling a little hungry for some Subway or some Pizza Slut. So yeah, that's Extreme Shell Delivery. Like I said, I'm going to give that one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely a recommendation that I would give to basically anyone looking for a good ROM hack. And I'm going to do it for that one. Let's just go ahead and move on to the second game. Guys, it's pizza time. Our next dish in the Foodie Hack Meal Pack is actually based on a mini game that was found in the 6th Gen Spider-Man 2 game, just recreated using Super Mario 64. I believe the minigame was actually just called Pizza Time, and you ran around with Spider-Man delivering pizzas, as the name implies. And that's what you do here. As Spider-Man, you run around this little city area and deliver a bunch of pizzas as quickly as you can. There are 3 different levels in the hack, and the stages are a bit harder each time than the last. The tighter time limit each time makes the deliveries a little bit harder to make. There is a custom Spider-Man model that was created for the game, and even voice clips taken straight from the movie and the PS2 game, so the presentation is pretty damn good. The graphics are slick, and I really love the N64 Spider-Man model. Although this one you don't have a shell to ride around on. You can get around pretty quick as Spider-Man. It would have been pretty neat if you could use your webs, but I'm not going to be too demanding of it. I also enjoyed some of the laughs. For example, entering this pipe in the game immediately gets you trolled by I forget the guy's name, but the newspaper editor that Peter Parker has problems with in the movies. Pretty good stuff. Really got a laugh out of me. I had a lot of fun playing this one. It is a lot simpler and less involved than the previous hack, Extreme Shell Delivery. So with that in mind, I would give it a bit of a lower score. I'd say about a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But I would recommend it to anyone that played and enjoyed the Pizza Time minigame in Spider-Man 2, or just Spider-Man fans in general. There's also a boss fight at the end of the hack after you beat the 3 stages, and it basically just puts you as Spider-Man up against a non-paying Karen. The one thing that does make me laugh, pretty much anytime anything happens in the game, Tobey Maguire will say, "It's pizza time." And I find that pretty amusing. Most of the dialogue from any of the characters will include "It's pizza time" at some point. Definitely really drills the joke pretty hard, but it's amusing nonetheless. So, and the final boss fight against the Karen that refuses to pay just definitely got a laugh out of me. Like I said, it was something that got a big smile out of me, and I had a lot of fun playing it. And I really think most people that play it will probably have the same feelings about it. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and just move on to the last hack in this Foodie ROM Hack Meal Pack. It's fucking Waluigi's taco stand, baby. I'm not going to lie, y'all, I'm pretty excited about this one because I fucking love Waluigi, and it's also created by Kazuya Manuar. Definitely one of the biggest and best ROM hackers from Mario 64. If you know anything about the community, you've probably heard of him before. This game uses the Super Mario 64 engine and lets you play as Waluigi, who unfortunately has spent all of Wario and his rent money on gambling at the casino, and so you need to go get a job at a taco stand to make some extra money and pay your rent. To make the tacos for your customers, you go into these little levels that are kind of like little hubs. They're small levels. There's a few enemies that drop stuff like this bacon, which is actually beef for some reason. There's cheese over here you can get to make the first taco. You need beef and cheese. You exit out of the stage to finish your taco and give it to the customer, and if it is correct, you'll move on to the next one. If it's not, they will be pissed and you'll have to go do it again. The customer's requests are usually pretty simple. Each stage has different ingredients that you'll find around the stage, like here's lettuce, there's tomatoes in this one over here, and there's also mushrooms. We're making a vegetarian taco for this guy. After you clear through a couple different customers for each stage, you'll finish the stage and you'll move on to the next one. There are a couple different biomes and they all have different ingredients and things to, watch out for. Pretty interesting. The second stage, for example, this little beach area here, you can find fish, coconuts, garlic, a couple other ingredients that were not in the previous stage. This first taco, they want coconut and beef. Sounds pretty gross, but we'll just get a coconut and kill this Goomba and take his beef and exit out, give him his taco. As you rank through the game, some of the requests do get a little bit more complicated, but some of them are still pretty simple. Like this one here only wants garlic, so you just need to go find only garlic and give it to the monkey, and that will be that taco. Some of them are a little bit more complicated to get. To get the cheese from the mouse in this level, you actually have to punch it, and also for some reason, collecting fish, other than when I just skated over it there with the shell, collecting fish for some reason is really difficult in this hack. I'm not the only person that said this, by the way. There are comments about it all over the place on romhacking.com, but anyway, the final two levels of the game are quite a bit more interesting than the first two. The beach stage is a lot of fun, and I did really enjoy having to lure out the mouse and punch it to get the cheese. That was kind of clever. But the cave stage, the third stage, is really, really fun. You get to fly around as Waluigi, which is pretty cool. There's also some piranha plants and the pokey enemies that you can punch to get cactus ingredients, strangely enough. There's also, flying around in this stage, a buzzard from the Shifting Sandland stage in the original Mario 64, and with Waluigi, if you can get up in the air and fly, you can actually just run right into him and take him out. And doing so, he'll drop an ingredient called chicken, and you can pick that up to make some of the hardest tacos in the game to get. This was definitely a little tricky to do. The controls of the game are a little finicky, and Waluigi does have a little bit different movement than Mario. Feels a little bit different, a little sticky. Anyway, moving on to the last level of the game, you have to make a taco for the swamp here, a volcano taco, which has all kinds of crazy stuff. And you go to this volcano stage where you can ride Dory, and you can also, if you want, just fall in the lava and bounce around and lava hop through the stage. But anyway, some of the ingredients are found in pretty interesting areas, like these little volcanoes. You can find the hot sauce ingredient that you'll need. There are enemies in this stage that you'll need to defeat to get the final ingredients. They're a little bit trickier, like the eyeball enemies. You'll need to run in circles around to get eyeball ingredient, which is pretty gross. You have to defeat a couple bullies to get bully horns as an ingredient. And there are also some spiders that you'll have to get spider legs from. So, pretty nasty. He wants a beef spider leg, hot sauce, bully horn, eyeball taco. I don't know about these Mushroom Kingdom guys, man, seriously. But anyway, I absolutely adore Waluigi, and being able to play as Waluigi in the Super Mario 64 engine is just something that I really enjoyed. I definitely got a kick out of the game. It gave me a lot of laughs. It's not super long, probably take about 45 minutes to an hour to beat. Just in getting the footage for this video and playing it for achievements and things like that, I've probably played through Waluigi's Taco Stand now about 4 or 5 times, and every single time I sit down and play it, I just beat it each time in one run. It's a lot of fun. Still trying to get the achievement for not getting any customer complaints, but anyway, I love this one, man. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. If it had a little bit more content, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5. I definitely love Waluigi and have a little bias, but anyway, I definitely recommend it, man. And that's going to wrap things up for this one. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Like I said at the start of this one, I'm going to have more like it pretty soon, but in the meantime, I hope you check out my previous reviews of Shotgun Mario 64, the ROM hack of Paper Mario Cooking Princess, and my most recent one for Mario in the Multiverse. These were all more full-style reviews like I typically would do, not like this video as much, but anyway, in the future, I plan to do more videos based on Super Mario 64 crossovers with different characters and using different games as the basis of whatever the ROM hack would be. I have a couple of them planned out, and I have a couple of them almost finished, including one that I'd like to call the Despicable Mario's ROM hack pack. That one should be out pretty soon, but I have other ones coming in the future. And here in the background, you can see some images from just different Mario ROM hacks I've been playing recently. There's been a ton of them, man. I've had a lot of fun playing all these games. It's been a real interesting rabbit hole to fall down into. And, there's just a ton of variety. There's so many different ROM hacks out there on romhacking.com and elsewhere. And although I can't get all of them to work properly or perfectly, the ones that I can, I will put as much time into as I can and put out more videos in the future. I've already done a lot. I've beaten a lot of these ROM hacks, some of the smaller ones especially, enough that I just have a lot of things to say about these different games, and it's exciting to kind of discover them for myself, so I figured, other people might enjoy them as well. I definitely think that some of the creators of these hacks are very talented people, and it's really interesting to see some of the things that they've done with Mario 64 since its vanilla original version. And really, as you can see from the screenshots here, the variety of things is kind of insane. I mean, you've got Mario becoming everything from different characters to having different worlds entirely, to new mechanics, to way, way better graphics, to quality of life improvements, things like that. I mean, this is all just stuff that I can play on N64 emulators, not anything that I can play on PC. I don't have a PC to play the ROM hacks on, so if I did, I can only imagine how much better they would run and how much easier the whole process would be. But I'm still having a ton of fun with it. That's why I make these videos. Not why I make the videos. I make them because I love these games and I like making videos. But I also just don't think that there's a ton of attention being put into N64 ROM hacks, or at least enough that I think that some of these games don't get enough of the credit that they probably deserve, and hopefully not too much credit that they'd have to be taken down or anything like that. I would never want that to happen. But anyway, this has been the first of many of these little ROM hack compilation packs that I plan to do, and the ones in the future will feature games that you've been seeing scrolling on the screen here. And I will be still doing full style reviews for some of the bigger and better ROM hacks, like the Patchmaker's Workshop, like the ones shown right here right now. But I like that there are all these different little subgenres of ROM hacks and different styles of ROM hacks that you can find and play, and I think it's kind of interesting that there are these different niches that are already existing. So anyway, I don't mean to drone on and on about it. I've been Aerotima, as always. I hope that you drink some water, call your mom, say something nice to your random person. It's the best way to have a really good day. Kindness is the best free gift you can give y'all. Well, unless you include liking and subscribing, which is probably the best free gift for me. But anyway, I hope you all have a good afternoon. Thank you for checking out my video, and please come back and check out more in the future. I've been Aerotima. Y'all have a good day.